Okay, cool. All right. So I know by the way, man, I see all the outbound stuff that you do and how you're reaching out and you're soaking up the information. So number one, I think that's brilliant. All right. You keep doing that. You keep trying to get as much information as you can. And I see the energy that you're giving out. So I think all of that stuff is wonderful. But let's talk a little bit about where you're at in the journey and then what tips I might be able to give you just to improve on it. Did I lose you?
Let me be even more.
Can you hear me okay?
One big part in retail business.
Okay. So right with the guy from Alpharetta, Georgia, froze right now. It's not moving right there. There you go. And he's trying to move. He froze.
You know what, bud? You're for
there we go.
last like 45 seconds, it froze, so I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was saying, right now I connected with some guy. He's from Alpharetta, Georgia. So he's looking for houses out there. So I found a lot of pre-foreclosures out there. And I also connected with another guy. He's looking for in Missouri, Alabama, and Columbus, Ohio, which I also found a lot of pre-foreclosures.
Okay.
But the problems or the obstacles I'm having is one, disconnected phone number, which is very popular.
Sure.
And number two, when I talk to the people right away, stop calling my phone, stop calling me. I don't want to sell my house and this and that. And I mean, I should be able to overcome that no or that tension, but I just freeze up and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, have a good day.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at. I want to overcome that obstacle.
Okay. So you found a couple buyers. Now these are end buyers. These people these investors that you met, one in Atlanta and one.
No, these are people in pre-foreclosure. Oh yeah. I met one of them. I met him through a Craigslist post that I've been posting. Because I was reading the book. If I didn't teach you anything about wholesaling, they're not gonna have to teach you after this.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I there's a clause where it says, all right, stop what you're doing, post this on Craigslist, and don't keep reading the book. So that's what I did, and I found a lot of buyers on there.
Sure.
And
now the buyers that you're currently working with, though, have they provided you with any type of proof of funds or any type of corporate documents or anything like that?
No, they have not.
Okay.
But some of them say that they work with hedge funds. Some of them say that they work with companies. You know, so I mean, sometimes I'm like, yes or no, or maybe they're just a wholesaler too.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to run into that a lot. Okay, so one of the things that you want to do so that you could be effective with your time and so that people aren't having you spin your wheels is if anytime you come across a buyer that says that they're ready to buy and this is their buy box, right? Whatever their buy box might be, it's important that you ask for, some type of real proof of fund and some type of articles of incorporation or some type of business entity, so you know who they're going to be purchasing it under. Number one.
Okay.
Now, the next thing that you can do to really find out if they're real buyers or not is you can say, okay, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a couple of the last few addresses, just like 2 or 3 addresses that you may have purchased yourself or that you currently own right now under that corporate name?
Okay.
I want you to do that. And the reason that I'm asking you to do that is because there's a lot of scams out there, and there's a lot of people that, what they'll do is they'll take advantage of your time. And so they'll tell you, look, I'm ready to buy. I'm representing a hedge fund. I got a hedge fund that's ready to buy. They got $6 million worth of money that they want to spend on these properties. And it's happened to me. I'm only speaking from personal experience. So where, okay, I start looking for them, but every time I bring them a property, it's not something that they purchase. Or number two, they want to purchase it at such a crazy discount. Like I did all this work, then they didn't go anywhere. So if you can speak to them with that kind of confidence and just be like, hey, listen, just so that we're familiar with one another, I don't have a problem going out there and identifying opportunities for you. In fact, I want to identify opportunities for you. But if I'm going to do that, I want to make sure I'm dealing with a real end buyer. So can you do me a favor? Can you give me a copy of your articles of incorporation? And can you give me a couple of addresses that you recently may have purchased? Okay, so that I can confirm that they were purchased under that entity, or just a couple addresses that you might hold right now, properties under those names, because I can check title anyway.
Okay.
Now, when you say that, here's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. You're gonna basically put them on the spot, and they're gonna be like, yeah, sure, no problem. Here's a couple addresses. Go take a look at it. Have at it. Or they're gonna be like, why are you even asking me this? They're gonna get offended by that. And if they start to get all offended by that, they're not real buyers.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Cause I made a list of like with questions saying how many projects can you handle at once? Are you a cash buyer? What's your ultimate goal? What does your portfolio look like? Because
Good.
I send these
Good.
questions down to these buyers, and a lot of them don't even respond back or why even
Yeah, they're not going to. They're not going to.
if
So
I'm here, it's because you need my your time either.
right, good. Okay, so I want you to pre-screen them a little bit better before you
Yeah.
start going out on wild goose hunt chases looking for these opportunities. Now, the flip side to that is, even if you do go find an opportunity, and if it's a good opportunity and these buyers are bogus, whatever, at least you have an opportunity. Now you can go present it to somebody else. Okay. So,
Mhm.
I don't want you spending too much time doing this. You don't have to pre-qualify every single person you come into contact with, but it's important to have that conversation up front so that you set your professional guidelines, right? Because once you have that posture and you have that professional guideline or that professional standard, right? You had those standards, people respect you more.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of overcoming objections, so here's the deal. Most people are going to say no on the very
Yeah.
first call. All right. So walk me through the script that you're using. What kind of script are you using right now when you're calling people? And what kind of buyer are you talking about? I mean, what kind of seller are you talking to? Because I left you a message, or I posted a link to the video that we did this morning on our group call where we talked about foreclosures. So if you're approaching them as from a foreclosure standpoint, almost all of them are going to say no immediately. Most people say no anyway. That's their normal first response. Everybody's first response is always no. It isn't until you get past the third or fourth question that you start to get the truth. Okay. If I call you, for instance, you be the seller. Okay. All right. Hey, I'm looking for Juan, please.
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, Juan, Paul Argueta, listen, we've never met. I'm calling about 1234 Mockingbird Lane. It just recently came to my attention, that you own this property, and I wanted to see if you might be open to an all cash offer on that property. No. So you're going to tell me no. You froze again.
Yeah, maybe not right now at the time.
Okay. All right. So not right now at the
Because
time.
I've gotten a response like that.
Okay.
Sorry, you're kind of breaking up.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. There's three questions that you want to ask people. All right. Number one, I ask them if they're open to four actually. Are you open to an all cash offer? They're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they say no, I'm still going to move on to my next question. So if they say no, we're not planning on selling. I'm going to repeat what they say. No, you're not planning on selling. Okay, fantastic. How long have you owned the property? Well, we've owned the property for about 20 years. 20 years. Okay, fantastic. So you've owned it for about 20 years, but you're not planning on selling it. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, well, listen, if you got the right cash offer for it, is that something that you would look at? And now look what I've done. I've asked the same question 2 or 3 times. I've just made it a little bit differently on the third one, just to see what they would say. Now, if I get to the point where I say, look, you told me you're not selling. You've owned the property for 20 years. And then I said, if you got the right cash offer, would you look at it? If they say no to that, then it's just no. It's always going to be no. And there's nothing I can do. But by the time I got to the third no, they say, well, maybe what's your cash offer? You might get that. Okay. Somebody might be like, well, I don't know. I mean, we're not thinking about selling, but if the offer was right, maybe. So now my script is going to change. Now I got a maybe, but I got a maybe, whereas before it was a complete no. So my message to you is you're going to get no at the very beginning. You got to get past the first no, second no. And by the right around the third no is where the truth starts to come out. Okay. So you want to get good at asking questions after they've already told you no. Are you open to an all cash offer? No, I'm not. Oh, no, you're not. Okay, fantastic. Hey, this is a great property. How long have you owned it? And you just keep the conversation going. You keep it moving forward. How long have you owned this property? Well, I've owned it for 5 years. You've owned it for 5 years. And it doesn't matter what response they give me. I have become notoriously good at repeating what they say and confirming. So if they say I've owned it for 10 years, oh, you've owned it for 10 years, fantastic. Where were you? Where did you move from originally? And then I wait and see what they say. Well, we moved from Texas. Fantastic. So you moved here from Texas. Yes. So let me see. You're not planning on selling. You've owned it for 10 years and you moved here from Texas. Did I hear you right? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Now look, if I could get you an all cash offer on this property, okay, and the numbers made sense to you, would you look at one? And then they might say yes, or they might say no again. And if they say no again, then chances are they're not motivated, right? But if they say maybe, look what I had to do. I had to go through all that stuff just to get to the maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
I guess my message to you is the pros know that the first 2 or 3 times are going to be no. You got to get past those no and keep them going through the conversation. So if they say no, I just keep talking. No, fantastic. Tell me, how long have you owned the property? 20 years? Fantastic. Where did you move from originally?
Yeah.
Texas? Fantastic. So you're not planning on moving. You've owned the property for 10 years and you moved here originally from Texas. Is that right? Great. Now look, if I could get you an all cash offer and the numbers made sense to you, would you even look at one? But look what I did. I had to go through all those questions until I got to the very last one. And I finally asked them that. And maybe I'll get a maybe, or maybe they'll be like, yeah, I guess we would. All right. So you got to get past those first 2 or 3 no's. That's very, very important. Now, the other thing is,
Paul. I can't even hear you.
You couldn't hear me? What part did you hear? Is it my internet that's acting wonky?
I don't know, because my Wi-Fi is like full signal and my service is all full signal.
Oh,
it could be mine too. Yeah.
It's weird. Okay. All right. So how much did you hear?
Huh?
How much
I just heard the part where you repeated saying that, okay, great, you're from Texas. You telling me that, well, you don't want to sell. And you were telling me that they were saying that they're from Texas. That's what I heard, because you were kind of breaking up.
Okay. All right. So what I do is I repeat their answers and then I confirm it. So basically what I'll say is, okay, so you just said you wouldn't look at an all cash offer. You had this property for 20 years and you originally moved here from Texas. Is that right? Like, I use that a lot. Is that right? Did I hear you correctly? Am I understanding you? Yes. And the reason that I do that all the time, okay, number one, it shows that I'm listening. Okay. Number two, I'm repeating what they're saying, so we're in sync. Okay. And number three, I continue to ask them, is that right? Did I understand you correctly? Is that what you just said? And here's what they're doing. Them subconsciously, they're doing this. Yes. 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 And the more I get them in sync with me and the more I get them saying yes, the easier it is for me to continue my conversation. Yeah. Okay. That's like, that's pro sales. That's professional salespeople. They know how to do that to you. Okay. Now, if you're calling our foreclosures or pre-foreclosures, because I saw you made that comment, you're not going to be able to just say, hey, do you want an all cash offer on your property? That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to work. All right. Now here's
why. It's a very sensitive subject.
Well, number one, 90% of them don't want to leave. They want to stay in the home. So it's not the same. Make sure you watch the video that I posted today on our Facebook group. I just posted it this morning. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll repeat a little bit of what I shared on that video. Number one, they don't want to leave. So if you call them trying to get them to sell their house, they're going to tell you to go pound rocks. They don't care. Right. But if you call them and you approach them this way, hey, Juan, listen, my name's Paul Argueta. We've never met. Here's why I'm calling. Your property at 1234 Mockingbird Lane. Look, I'm sure it's a mistake, but Zillow seems to have it on this list of properties that are in foreclosure. And I just wanted to see, do you know how to get it off that list? Do you know how to get it off? Do you know how to, do you know what all of your options are? Okay. Now look what I did. I said, number one, it's probably a mistake. Okay. And the reason I want you to say that is because people, they're already embarrassed, right? Nobody wants the world to see that they're in foreclosure. So if you make it seem like, look, I'm sure it's a mistake, but Zillow has you on this list of properties that show that it's in foreclosure. And I just wanted to make sure that you understood all the options so that you could get off that list, and all of the options so that you could stay in your home. All right. I got to take a breather.
That's smart. Yeah, that's all right.
So anyway, okay. So you approach them that way, now they're more open to listening to you. I'm not saying all of them, but now they're more open to listening to you. And one of the things that you might hear them say is, I already have somebody working on it for me. Okay, you may hear that. Or they may say, I have an attorney. That's another thing that you may hear. Okay. If they say that, here's what you say. John or Jane, listen, I appreciate you sharing that with me. It sounds like you have somebody already working on that for you. Is that correct? And then I did it again. I repeated what they said. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay, fantastic. I don't know if you know it or not, but you can actually have more than one person helping you to help you stay in your home. And if you had more than one person helping you, don't you think that would increase your chances of you staying in the property? Yes. Okay, fantastic. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. All we would have to do is help you apply for a loan modification. Have you already applied for a loan modification? Some are going to say yes. Some are going to say no. Some are going to be like, what the hell is a loan modification? And then that's where you're going to tell them, look, I can walk you through the process, but the fastest way to do it is call your bank.
He froze again.
We froze again? How much did you hear? Huh? Now I lost you. You still with me?
All right, we're back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just heard you where you were talking about the loan modification.
Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to say, have you applied for your loan modification?
Yeah, I'm still here.
And they're going to be like, yes or no. And then you say, okay, well, I can help you do that. But the fastest way to do it is for you to call your bank and ask them for a loan modification application. All right. Now, here's the deal. 90% of the people that apply for a loan modification, unfortunately, will probably be denied. Okay. They just don't meet the qualifications. But you can't tell them that. You tell them that, you're the enemy. All right. So you have to come from a place of, I'm trying to help you. Okay. Here's how we're going to do it. Go apply for a loan mod. They apply for the loan mod. And if they get it, then you're a hero. If they get it, great. You helped them out. Okay. Good. You know, good karma your way. Right. But if they don't get it, guess who they're going to call next the minute it doesn't work out? You. Right. Because they trust you. So when you're dealing with pre-foreclosures or foreclosures, you have to play. It's the long game. Okay. This isn't going to happen within like a month or 2 months. It's a long-term play. So you have to come, you approach them. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you. And then you wait and see. And then you just keep following up with them as they go through the process. All right.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Now, how are you getting these lists and what are you calling them?
This list I'm getting them off. I have an app called Property Radar, so that's where I'm finding all my leads.
Okay, Property Radar is
owners, absentee owners out of the area. Yeah, pre-foreclosures. I'll find all kinds of leads. Just in one state, I found like 5,000 of them.
Right. Okay. And then Property Radar does do skip tracing. It's not always the best, but they do have skip tracing. Because I've used Property Radar. In fact, Property Radar is one of the oldest. It used to be called Foreclosure Radar back in the day, between 2008 or 9 when it first came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
okay.
Okay, so that's fine. You can use those lists. All right. I am going to recommend though that you also start to go after on-market properties. Okay. And the reason that I want you to go after on-market properties is because those are it's the fastest way to get yourself a deal is by doing on-market. All right.
Yeah, and with those are I've been having a difficult time just because of the realtors. They're a pain in the butt to work with sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
They want higher approval funds and who's going to be on the title and this and that.
Okay,
so I get frustrated at times.
So if you want, you can use our proof of funds and you can use our articles. Okay, and then we just put and/or assignee. All right, as the name, because it's going to be assigned anyway. All right. Now, if the realtor says we're not going to let you put and/or assignee, then you just have to give them a little bit of pushback. Okay. Now you know I'm a broker, right? I've been a broker for 26 years, so I know the way the brains work, the way agents think, and the way they're thinking. So what you have to tell them is I need it to have as and/or assignee, because I'm not sure which entity I'm going to be putting it in. right? I don't know if you've heard me say that or if you've seen it somewhere
Mhm.
else, but you tell them, look, I may even create a brand new corporation just for this purchase, in the next week or two. So I'm not really sure. So that's why I need and/or assignee on that contract. And if you explain it to them that way, then they'll probably understand. But when you get people who are rookies and they don't know what they're saying, and they're like, "Oh, I only want, I just need it there." That's where you run into problems. Okay. So yeah, you can use our proof of funds. You can
That's
use
smart. I'm gonna use that. Yeah, because yeah,
Go ahead.
cool. Yeah, because there was a property in Benicia. They wanted 600,000 for it, and that house easily needed 200,000 in repairs,
Okay.
right? And the comps in that area was like around 700,000. I'm like, yeah, nobody's gonna want this because I mean, people want to make a profit at least what, like
100%.
40% around there.
Now, how are you calculating
Yeah,
your repairs?
and
How are you calculating them?
I'm using this formula that Brett Daniels was he had.
Okay.
I don't know it by heart, but I was using off of that. I was using his. That's what I was using.
Okay. When did you see that video though? Because he had one that was out earlier this year and it was a different formula versus the formula that he's using
Yeah,
now.
the one that I saw it. Okay, I saw it yesterday, and that video was like 3 months old.
All right, let's talk Brent Daniels. I'm part of the team over there too. So, what's my point? My point
Okay,
is,
cool.
here's the numbers that we use. All right. If it's a lipstick fixer,
Okay.
lipstick is when it's only carpet and paint, or not carpet, but paint and flooring. If it's paint and flooring, it's $25 a square foot. Okay.
Okay.
That's a lipstick fixer. And don't worry about writing this stuff down because, like I said, I'm recording it anyway. So it's 25 bucks. Okay. Floor, paint, 25 bucks a square foot. If it's floor, paint, and remodel, if you got to remodel a kitchen or remodel a bedroom or remodel a bath, then it's going to be $45 to $55 a square foot, or you could just say 50.
Okay.
So $50 a square foot if you got to do a remodel and you need, you got to redo the kitchens, bedrooms, and baths. Now, if it's a gut job and it's really, 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 really bad, you're going to go off $75 a square foot, maybe even 80. Okay.
Okay.
Those
that's
are general
just
numbers
anywhere in the
that you
United
probably
States.
use right now. Okay. So 25, 50, and 80.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So we got those numbers down now. So once you've determined the repairs, then you're going to also need to determine the ARV and the comping. I'm not going to be able to go into like a whole training on comping, but I am going to give you access to this calculator that you can use. I'll give it to you and you can have access to it and you can modify it however you want to do it. But this is the calculator that we use. It's a Google sheet and you just plug in how much money you want to make, your fee, the price that you think you need to get the property at. The investor's price is the fee plus your price equals the investor's price. The rehab is right here and the ARV. All you do is punch in these numbers and then it'll tell you if it's a moneymaker or not.
Okay.
This is when it's a hard money loan. This is when it's in all cash. So if you have an investor that is going to use all their cash, typically they're going to make more money when they use 100% cash because they don't have to pay interest and all that other stuff or points for the hard money. But here's what this means. If you do this right, here's the 15% that most investors will need for their hard money loan. So in this example, right, the property is worth 425. The rehab is about 40. I calculated it. And in order for us to get it, we'd have to get it for about 249. Now the asking price for this property is 499. Okay, it sounds crazy, but it's 499. In order for me, I just did this one on another example. To get this property, I'd have to get it accepted at 249. And then I would sell it to an investor for 264. Okay. If they do that, the investor has to come up with 15%. And if they spend 73,000, they will make 31,000 back. 31,000 minus all of their expenses, commissions, depreciation, closing costs, all of that stuff. Okay. So I'll share this calculator with you so that way you have it. But going back to what I was saying about going on to Zillow, this is a spreadsheet that we created. This spreadsheet is worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. for the person that uses it. Okay, for somebody who doesn't do anything with it, it's not worth anything.
Okay.
But we've already done all the hard work.
Yeah.
So we have every search phrase that you can think of that investors are looking for except for seller finance. I need to add that. That's one that I haven't added, right? But we have FISBO, TLC, short sale, REO, probate, investor, whatever. So for instance, where are you? Where are you located?
Right now I'm looking in Missouri and Alpharetta, Georgia.
I think you muted yourself out.
Oh, no, maybe my.
Yeah, I can't hear you, bud. Yeah, you muted yourself out.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so you're in Northern Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area.
Cool. All right, so we can do California. California is a little tough because the deposits that here in California are really high. But let's just say, for instance, let's go.
That's why
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at California because it's expensive.
Yeah, but here's the deal. What you can do, so for instance, here's a purchase agreement that I just drafted up on a property, okay? On an offer that we're going to be submitting. And there's a couple things you could do with the offer or the deposits. So the initial deposit here for us in California, they expect you to have 3%. Anyway, I close it. The initial deposit is normally 3% in California. Okay. So what I usually tell agents is, look, I'll give you a deposit of $1,000. Okay. After that $1,000 deposit, I'm going to complete my inspections. And if we continue after the inspections, then I'll give you the 3% total deposit. And for most agents, that's okay. Now, a year ago, you wouldn't have been able to have gotten away with that. A year ago, you wouldn't have gotten away with it because so many investors, everyone was just buying up properties. But now you can actually get away with a little bit more. But for now, let's just say we don't do California. Let's say we go to Oklahoma, which, by the way, is a really good state to work in. I also heard Missouri. Missouri is a good state. Yeah. I was on a Zoom call with the owner of Privy, the guy who owns it. Okay, so here's Missouri, and he kept telling me that Missouri is good. So let's just look at Missouri real quick. All you have to do is copy this. Oh, dude, my computer's running. Every time I do Zoom, you copy that cell, and then you paste it up here, and now you'll see all the properties in Missouri. Now, these are all the properties that have the search phrase cash in them. Okay, so something about these are looking. There's cash. So the biggest one is clearly St. Louis, right? That's the biggest city. So I'm going to stick to over here. Okay. Now, what I will do then is I will sort it by newest to oldest. And then I will go to the oldest. I don't want to work the newest. I want the oldest, the ones that have been beat up a little bit. So here's one.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been doing the Zillow's been acting up all day today. So this one they're asking 70,000. All right. Well, when this happens, what I usually do is I pay for Privy so I can use Privy. Privy is a paid tool, and I like it a lot. I just like Zillow because it's fast, free, so anybody can use it. But if I type the address in here, it'll pop up. Okay, so this property has been on the market for I don't know how long. This is an all cash offer. I can read the MLS details, and it says monthly cash flow. The property comes with a stable tenant and excellent monthly cash flow. All right, so let's talk about this. Now, in this case, there's already a tenant in place. Okay, this is probably why it hasn't sold. So how could you, it was listed about a year ago. How could you structure this to try to make it so that you could still buy it and wholesale it?
Probably do seller's finance, right? You can probably do that.
Right. So what you can do is we can call the agent up, right? And then we would say, hey, Michael, let's see if we can find him. Search for Michael. Here he is. Here's his mobile. Tell you what, let's call him. You're seeing me do this in real time now.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Let's see if he answers.
Yeah.
2 hours ahead, right? I think.
Yeah. About 2 hours.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Mike Galbley.
Hey, Mike, good evening. My name's Paul. I'm calling about your listing over on Ezra Drive. Is that still available?
Yes, sir. We do have a contract on it. How can I help you?
Oh, so it's in escrow?
It is?
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, it still shows up as active on Zillow, but okay. So it's,
That's correct. Yeah, we haven't switched it yet until the buyer gets through their building inspection period.
oh, I see. Okay. All right. So then why don't I do this? Why don't I follow up with you in a couple of days? I mean, were we at full price on this one, or where were we?
We were at full price on it.
Oh, cool. Congratulations. Okay. What's the rent that the tenant is paying on it?
It is $825.
So the tenant's paying $825. And is it on a month to month, or is that lease still good until
It's month to month.
it's month to month? Okay, cool. All right. With your permission, I'm going to send you a text message with my contact info. I will follow up with you in a couple of days, and if they move forward, great. And if not, maybe I can have a conversation with you.
All right, sounds good.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that one didn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you
And
see,
then, yeah.
okay, so now here's the deal. When I talk to agents, okay, and again, yes, I do have a little bit of an advantage just because I've been one for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But when you call them, you take control of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it available? Yes. Great. Do you have any offers on it? Yes. Great. No. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Have you gotten any offers on it? No. Yes. I can't tell you. Okay, great. What was the price of those offers? They'll tell you yes, no, I can't tell you, whatever. It doesn't matter. I ask the question so that way I can gauge how much the seller is motivated. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Mhm.
this one, it looks like they have a full price offer. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, and then the rent, 825, that's not bad. I mean, rent in their area is going like about $1,100.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So now I can go back. I'm going to use preview for now because Zillow is really running like shit today. So we got 35. The only thing with this is that these aren't necessarily fixers, but let's see. So we've got 35 other listings here. I want you to sort them by, again, oldest to newest. So 180 days. That's a major fixer right there. All right. Let's take a look at this one. Odd, because it does have, no, those are like Formica. All right, who's a listing? Oh, list with freedom. All right. This isn't really these are just self listings where like people pay $500 to put it on there. Yeah, I can never get a hold of anyone with list for freedom. So I'm not going to stress out on that one. Let's move on to this one.
Oh, yeah.
Alonzo Reed, Reed Realtors. All right. Part of the reason I like Zillow is because a lot of times they put the telephone numbers. With Privy, I have to search for them.
Yeah.
That might be something that I want to recommend actually to them. All right. Alonzo Reed, here's his mobile number. Let's see if he answers. All right.
So this is Mike Galbley.
Mike, I'm sorry I butt dialed you again. I apologize.
No worries.
What the hell's going on?
Probably the same guy.
Yeah. You should probably be talking to no less than 7 to 10 agents a day.
Okay. And again, I should probably start looking out of California more.
Huh?
And look outside of California more, probably.
Yeah, or wherever. I mean, you just Hi, I'm looking for Alonzo,
Hello?
please. Yes, is this Alonzo? Hi, Alonzo. Good evening. I'm calling about your listing on Cote Brillante. Is that still available?
On where?
4812 Cote Brillante. Is that
No,
not?
no, that's not available.
Oh, it's not available. Did it sell already?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it did sell. Okay. Are you the agent?
No. What number are you dialing?
357-2323.
No, you got the wrong number.
Are you not Alonzo Reed? All right, man. That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
All right, so 995. I'm probably not gonna touch this. Okay. My window
Yeah.
is usually no more than 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. I don't even like doing 2,000 square feet. Okay, I tend to prefer that all my houses be that I'm doing wholesaling or flips or assignments or whatever are bread and butter homes. This is not a bread and butter home. This is like almost a historical mansion, and it's a fantastic,
Yeah.
a nice one to live in. But
Yeah.
this one's not going to be easy to sell, right? So I won't
Yeah.
personally. So let's go on. Here's another one. 184.
Yeah. And why do you say it's not easy to sell? Is it because of the price?
Well, okay, so first, the price is very, very high. And that is not your traditional type of loan. That's not your traditional type of buyer anyway. In fact, I mean, by California standards, that's like everyday pricing. But over there for St. Louis, that's like super high end, super high end. So,
Okay. Yeah.
so this property is vacant. It's this is probably like a cosmetic fixer, right? It's not, it's livable. You don't have to fix it.
Yeah.
But it is somewhat of a cosmetic fixer. Personally, that's what I would call this. So if I was to base what I do, and I don't even know if that's real, I think that's staged. I think that's digital. That's not real furniture. That's just digital stuff that they put in there. Because I do that with my own listings. Okay, so anyway.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, that's CGI.
Oh, nice.
All right. So anyway, they're asking 184, 3-bed, 2-bath, 864. Now, another thing you want to do if you're using Privy is you want to check the previous sale because you want to see when was the last time they bought it. They last bought it in 2011. You can do the same thing in Zillow, but it's a little tough. Okay, cool. Let's hope it doesn't crash. Anyway. Zillow, there's a way to see the prior sale. If a property has just been sold in the last 4 to 6 months and then they're trying to sell it again, there's no margin there. You're not really going to be able to make any profit. So I wouldn't touch that either.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at this. Here's this one. This one they last purchased in 11. So let's call the agent. And then I may have to call it a night, bud. But at least
yeah, no worries.
like this is what I do.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate your help.
Okay, Open Door, you're not going to go anywhere with Open Door. All right, just an FYI. Open Door is a publicly traded company like Zillow. They were buying homes left and right, and they're selling most of their homes. Wait a minute. How could it be Open Door if their last purchase was 2011? Huh. That's weird. Open Door buys their properties, they fix them, and then they sell them. So I think it's wrong. I think the previous sale had to have been before that. Public records.
Yeah, because I heard they also were liquidating a lot of their assets because they were going under.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're going to go under, but they're definitely losing money. So look, how did it get sold for $0? So Open Door took this in May for $0.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It may have been just like a, I don't even know. All right, I'm not going to mess with this.
Probably quick claim deed.
I think so. 735, it's over 2,000 square feet. I'm probably not going to touch this. And this looks like it's brand new construction or it's a vacant lot. So I'm not going to mess with that. 184, this looks like your typical bread and butter home. This is a flip, right? I think. This looks to me like a property that they tried to flip, and now they've been trying to sell it.
Mhm.
So it's been on the market for a while. Let's check the public records, property history, because so they bought it for 199. And then they sold it. So they in 21, they sold it for 129. Then they put some money into
Mhm.
it, trying to sell it for 199 cents. So
Mhm.
this is a flip. I mean, you might be able to get something creative out of this if they're open to it. Who's the agent on this or what? So they bought it for 129 in 21. Then about a year later, they listed it. All right, let's call the agent. Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Here's what you can do with a deal like this. This is
Mhm.
already fixed up, right? So, I mean, the thing is, if it's fixed up already, it's not like you have to really do anything to it. So what you could do is you could try to do a creative finance where you try to take over the loan, because it looks like they do have a loan. Seller Family One Asset Management LLC. So this person looks like they may have been a wholesaler.
Mhm.
Sold it to them. I don't know. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter at this point. Let's just call them. Let's see if they can do something creative. What I
Okay.
can do creatively is I can say, okay, well, why don't you do this? I can purchase this. Now, if I'm going to purchase this creatively, first we need to know how much I can rent this for. Okay, for rent. Now you can use
Mhm.
rentometer or rentometer,
Yeah.
whatever. But let's see what we
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
So this house can probably rent for, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 800 square foot home. And we only want homes. There's a house. There's a house for 1245. That's a 1-bed. Let's make sure that it's at least 2.
Mhm.
Looking, and it seems to me like any 2 bedrooms are gonna go. Look at wow, 1325. But it doesn't look like this one's as nice as the other one. Ugh. This thing is like really annoying me. All right, let's assume that we can rent this for 1500 then.
Okay.
I think it can probably go for more because it looks like it's a little bit nicer. But
Yeah.
it's I'm not sure about the neighborhood because I see all that commercial stuff behind it. All right, let's say we can rent this for 1500. So if I can rent this for 1500, that means, doing the math, you have to subtract 150 for property management, 150 for insurance. Okay. Then
Mhm.
you also have to subtract, let's say you subtract about 200 for reserves. Then you also have
Mhm.
to subtract about 300 to 400 for profit. Let's say 300. So now you only have about $700 that you can play with to be able to make
Mhm.
monthly payments to the seller.
Mhm.
That's how I calculate it. So what I'll do is I'm going to call Brian now and I'm going to see if they're open to any type of creative financing.
And then also, is it true that you can use like a open up a business credit card, but you need to get an LLC to be able to buy a home or investment properties?
You could. I know that they're Pace pushes his corporate entity thing and they charge you like $2,000 to do it. I haven't done it, so I can't really give you any type of advice as to whether you
Mhm.
should do it or not do it. But I see
Okay.
people posting about that all the time. And they say you can get like up to $20,000 of immediate credit for your business. I mean, I like I said, I can't say anything positive and I can't say anything negative
Mhm.
about it because I haven't done it.
Okay.
So trying to get a hold of Brian. Here's Brian. It's kind of late over there. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a hold of anybody else, but
You've reached Brian Miller with Mobile Realty. If you could, please leave your name and phone number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
At the tone, please record
so
your
now what I
message.
would do
When you
is I then save this so that I can call them back.
Okay.
Yeah, this is horrible. It's running really bad today. So I save it here. Brian Miller. Realtor. Now, if you're interested in learning about what tool I'm using, this is Dialpad. This is like my
Mhm.
phone, my PBX system that I use to make calls. It costs like
Oh, okay.
$30 a user.
Okay.
I am interested in your listing on Wise Avenue. Is it still available? Well, I'll get interested. Right. That's it,
Uh-huh.
right? And then I follow up with him.
Okay.
All right. So going back to what I said, so I'm going to give you this spreadsheet so that you can have it and you can start making, figuring out what markets you want to go in. I'm also going to give you this
Mhm.
calculator so that you could use this too.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to edit it. So what you have to do is you can only view it. So you have to click file, and then make a copy, and then you'll have your own version.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
All right. But yeah, so the
All right.
fastest, so just to recap, the fastest way to get a deal right now is by going on market. I still want you to do the off market stuff, but definitely start attacking on market deals, a minimum to 7 to 10 a day minimum. You got to talk to them. All right. And again, if you can control
Okay.
the conversation, not being rude, but by asking the right questions, it'll work out fine.
Mhm. Okay.
All right.